in a significant move to address the long-standing issue of undocumented immigrants brought to the United States as children. California Democrats joined 201 members of Congress on Wednesday to reintroduce a bill that would provide a pathway to citizenship for an estimated 2.7 million individuals, most of whom are commonly referred to as Dreamers. The proposed legislation, known as the American Dream and Promise Act, also extends this opportunity to approximately 400,000 individuals with temporary protected status, TPS, who have been residing in the U.S. since 2017. However, the bill excludes TPS holders who arrived more recently. The reintroduction of this bill comes at a critical juncture in the national debate over immigration reform, as the country grapples with the complexities of its immigration system and the human stories of those who have built their lives in the U.S. without legal status. The bill's supporters argue that Dreamers and TPS holders are integral members of American society, contributing to the economy, serving in essential roles, and enriching communities across the nation. The American Dream and Promise Act, a path to citizenship. The American Dream and Promise Act seeks to address the precarious legal status of Dreamers who were brought to the U.S. as children and have grown up in the country, often knowing no other home. The bill would create a conditional permanent resident status for eligible Dreamers who have not been convicted of certain crimes. To transition from conditional permanent residency to lawful permanent residency, a green card, individuals would need to demonstrate that they have completed at least 2 years of higher education or military service, or have been employed for at least 3 years. After obtaining a green card, they would become eligible to apply for U.S. citizenship after 5 years. For TPS holders, the bill offers a similar pathway, provided they can prove they have been continuously present in the U.S. for 3 years and were eligible for or had TPS status in 2017, among other requirements. This provision acknowledges the contributions of TPS holders, many of whom have lived in the U.S. for decades, raised families, and become pillars of their communities. The role of California Democrats. California Democrats have been at the forefront of efforts to pass comprehensive immigration reform, particularly legislation that benefits Dreamers. The state is home to the largest population of undocumented immigrants in the country, including a significant number of Dreamers. Representatives from California, such as Pete Aguilar, D. Redlands, and Lou Correa, D. Orange County, have been vocal advocates for the bill, emphasizing the economic and social contributions of Dreamers and TPS holders. At a press conference on Capitol Hill, Rep. Aguilar highlighted the successes of the 800,000 Dreamers who have been able to work legally under the Obama-era Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA program. He argued that their achievements are evidence that immigrants who have come of age in the U.S. deserve the security of becoming fully American. They're our friends, our neighbors. They're teachers, doctors, nurses, essential workers, business owners, service members in our military, and much more. Aguilar said, they pay taxes. Some of them own homes, and they have contributed $108 billion to our local economy. And yet, these are the same individuals who live in fear. Rep. Correa, whose district includes a large number of Dreamers, echoed these sentiments, emphasizing the absurdity of deporting individuals who are deeply embedded in their communities. Let me tell you who they are, he said. The local police department has police officers that are Dreamers. Does it make sense to deport them? Absolutely not. Public support and political challenges. The reintroduction of the American Dream and Promise Act reflects the overwhelming public support for providing a pathway to citizenship for Dreamers. A July 2024 Gallup poll found that 70% of Americans favor allowing immigrants who entered the country illegally a chance to become U.S. citizens if they meet certain requirements over a period of time. This figure jumps to 81% for those who were brought to the U.S. as children. Despite this broad public support, the bill faces significant political hurdles. While the majority of House Democrats, including the entire San Francisco Bay Area delegation, have signed on as co-sponsors, only one Republican, Florida Representative Maria Elvira Salazar, has joined them. This lack of bipartisan support mirrors the challenges faced by previous versions of the bill, which have failed to become law, despite multiple attempts over the past 2 decades. Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors, DREAM Act, was first introduced in 2001. Since then, various iterations of the legislation have been proposed, but none have successfully navigated the complex political landscape to become law. In 2021, the American Dream and Promise Act passed the House with a vote of 228 to 197, with 9 Republicans voting in favor. However, the bill stalled in the Senate, where it faced opposition from Republican leadership. The role of President Trump and Republican opposition. The reintroduction of the bill has reignited debates over the role of former President Donald Trump and the Republican Party in shaping immigration policy. During his presidency, Trump took a hardline stance on immigration, frequently characterizing undocumented immigrants as threats to national security and vowing to implement mass deportations. However, Trump has also expressed support for Dreamers, stating in a December 2023 interview with NBC's Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker that he wanted to allow them to stay in the U.S. "We have to do something about the Dreamers, because these are people that have been brought here at a very young age," Trump told Welker. "I want to be able to work something out. I think we can work with the Democrats and work something out." Despite these statements, Trump's administration sought to dismantle the DACA program, which has provided temporary protection from deportation and work authorization for hundreds of thousands of Dreamers. The program remains in place due to court rulings, but its future is uncertain. Representative Sylvia Garcia, D. Texas, who introduced the current bill, addressed the political challenges head-on during the press conference. "Well, why not now? Now is the time to double down," she said, adding that Trump is on record saying he supports Dreamers. So Congress must act now and deliver this bill to the president's desk. The economic and social impact of Dreamers supporters of the American Dream and Promise Act argue that providing a pathway to citizenship for Dreamers and TPS holders is not only a moral imperative, but also an economic necessity. Dreamers contribute billions of dollars to the U.S. economy each year, paying taxes, purchasing homes, and starting businesses. According to a 2023 report by the Center for American Progress, Dreamers contribute an estimated $108 billion annually to the nation's GDP. Moreover, Dreamers play vital roles in their communities, serving as teachers, healthcare workers, first responders, and members of the military. Deporting these individuals would not only disrupt their lives, but also deprive the country of their talents and contributions. At the press conference, Representative Garcia emphasized that Dreamers should not be penalized for being in the country without lawful status, as they were brought to the U.S. as children. Like any other child, they lived where their parents told them to live. Many of them were just 6 years old. 6-year-old children do not violate laws, she said. If an adult is pulled over for speeding, we don't turn around and give the adult a ticket and then give a ticket to the child in the back seat. Doesn't work that way. The path forward. The American Dream and Promise Act is likely to be referred to the Immigration Subcommittee of the House Judiciary Committee, where it will face scrutiny and potential amendments. The subcommittee's chair, California Rep. Thomas McClintock, a Republican who voted against the bill in 2021, will play a key role in determining its fate. As of press time, McClintock's office had not responded to inquiries about whether he would allow the bill to proceed to a vote. The bill's supporters remain hopeful that it will gain traction, particularly given the widespread public support for providing a pathway to citizenship for Dreamers. However, the political landscape remains fraught with challenges, and the bill's success will depend on the ability of its advocates to build bipartisan support and navigate the complexities of the legislative process. Conclusion: the reintroduction of the American Dream and Promise Act represents a renewed effort to address the plight of Dreamers and TPS holders who have long lived in limbo. Despite their deep ties to the United States, California Democrats, along with their colleagues in Congress, are championing this cause, emphasizing the moral, economic, and social imperatives of providing a pathway to citizenship for these individuals. As the bill moves through the legislative process, its supporters will continue to highlight the stories of Dreamers and TPS holders, underscoring their contributions to American society and the urgent need for comprehensive immigration reform. While the road ahead is uncertain, the reintroduction of the American Dream and Promise Act is a testament to the enduring hope and resilience of those who dream of a better future in the only country they call home.